Yeah, so we are the Condons, Dave and Marcia Ann. We're about to celebrate our 11th
I'm Dave.
anniversary. Yeah,
And
I'm Marcia.
this is Marcia Ann. Just keeping it straight. Yeah, we're celebrating our 11th anniversary.
Celebrate our 11th, which is really cool.
Next week, Saturday.
We're excited. This hasn't been our first rodeo, so
Oh, yeah.
that's why we felt the Father's heart with just all the wisdom He's poured out onto us as to what didn't work before, what caused us to have failed marriages, and then admitting to what we did.
Failed this marriage, too.
Right, and then learning new tools, healing our hearts so we didn't keep repeating, we didn't keep defiling each other and defiling the marriage and the marriage covenant with God, because I think that's it, is when we value the covenant with God, we begin then showing value towards each other. And when He started showing us truth, which was, hey, when you honor each other, when you serve each other, you're actually serving me, you're honoring me. So it was just a different perspective, I think. And that it's important to Him. It's important to God that we honor our covenant. And so it's recognizing, I guess, knowing your place. It's all about God. It's all about Jesus. We just need to sometimes get over ourselves. And that's what we kind of started doing. We started recognizing really how little power we have and not allowing fear to come in and do a lot of stuff. So tonight's topic is say what you mean what you say. And that is something we had to learn to do because we both grew up in family households that didn't allow the children to speak. You were better off seen and not heard. And so from that place, you don't really learn how to share your needs with anybody. You're not able to put a word to it. It's like, oh, you might feel sad, or you might feel lonely, or isolated, or rejected, but you're not able to really put a word to it because you weren't allowed to. You weren't even allowed to share your emotions. So if as a child, you weren't allowed to have feelings, or I remember hearing, "I'll give you something to cry about." So what it tells a child is that they can't feel. You need to be quiet. You need to shut up. You're not supposed to have any emotions or feelings. We will tell you what you can feel. We will tell you what you can say. But you personally cannot. So you grow up not being able to separate yourself from the two and recognize within you what's bothering you. What about you? Did you have anything like that? I know I kind of was speaking with both of us.
Yeah, no, it would be more of like the manipulation side. Kind of, I don't have an example up front, but you did do a good example in the
with the trash can.
With the trash can. Instead of to say, "Hey, honey, can you take the trash out?" It was more, "Boy, the trash can seems to be getting full.
You think it can hold any more?
You think you put any more in there?
What night do you take trash out?
Yeah, those kind of things. Does trash go out on Thursday?
You're like beating around the bush instead of just saying,
"Hey, trash is full. Can you get it?"
Yeah,
and that makes it simpler.
And recognizing that marriage is a teamwork. It's teamwork. So maybe you can just take the trash out.
Well, that's true, but it's
I think it's recognizing that, because I think if you get used to one role and just you taking out the trash, then all of a sudden I don't have the power to take out trash. No. That actually is a way of them. Now I've just, in a sense, I've lost some power. And I mean in a way that when I was single and a single mom, I was taking out the trash. Why? Because I now have a marriage. I'm married. I can't take out the trash anymore. So I think we kind of can get into these mindsets.
Yeah. Okay. Not saying that a man takes out the trash, a woman can't take out the trash. That's not what I was saying.
Oh, I know.
Okay. It's about manipulation in regards to getting someone to do something that you want them to do without actually just saying, "Hey, can you go do that?
Yeah.
Can you handle that? Can you take care of that?" It's when you beat around the bush, or when you just expect the other person to do it and you don't tell them that.
And then you get mad.
And then you get mad because they should just know.
And then they're like, don't even know why you're mad.
Yeah. I'm not mad.
Why are you upset?
Yeah.
Nothing. I remember hearing that all the time. Why are you upset? Is something wrong? No.
And that's where, when they asked you, is something wrong, this is where you say what you mean what you say. Yes, I'm upset, and this is why I'm upset. And then it could either be right or wrong. But
Yeah.
you got to be able to speak out what you need and what you need to say.
And that takes practice when you've never been able to do it before.
Yes.
So we had to practice. We had to both individually practice what it looked like. Okay, okay. Let me put a word to the emotion. Okay, I'm feeling. It could be just even exhausted. I'm just so tired, and be able to say that. Like, we've learned to say that when we see each other. When he gets home from work, and I've finished my day of work too, and it's just like. And Brene Brown will mention this. We just say, I'm riding on a solid 20. I've got 20% to give right now. And just to say, I'm exhausted.
That helps your partner know that, hey, okay, so you don't have anything extra. So okay, I'll step up and I can cover the rest. And if I'm also at a solid 20 and you're at a 20, that's when, okay, let's just sit down.
Scotty,
No, let's sit down, make a plan so we don't hurt each other because we're exhausted.
we don't take it out on the other person. Because we can sometimes just unknowingly do that.
Right.
And unfortunately, the people we love the most are the ones that we hurt the most. We unload on them. They see our true colors.
Call that vomit.
And we tend to vomit on them more. And so it's like being kind to one another, and showing grace and mercy. What does that look like? Because if you never saw it, you're not going to know how to duplicate it. You're not going to know how to repeat it. And I think the first time I was asked what grace was, I was in my 40s, probably late 40s. And someone asked me to define grace. It was like a Bible study. And I had no idea. I didn't know what to say. I had no idea how to say what grace looked like. What was grace? I didn't. And so then I started wanting to learn more about it and started studying it and researching it and getting into the word, learning about grace, what that looked like. And as I got more, I'd have to say, intimate with Jesus. So I had more intimate times with Jesus, just me and him, sitting at his feet, learning from him. I started understanding grace more. Getting it from his perspective and learning from the Holy Spirit. And so then I was able to show myself grace, but also then start showing my spouse grace. Because if you don't have it, you can't give it. We cannot give what we don't have. So if we're not if I didn't even have an understanding of it, but that goes even for self-respect. If you don't have respect of self, there is no way you're going to be able to demonstrate respect towards another person. If you don't have peace within you and you're always in turmoil and you're anxious, that's what you're going to release. So that's why it's important to be able to put a word to how you're feeling. Because the minute you're able to say, I'm feeling a little fearful right now, you just have exposed it. There's right there, you exposed what is even coming at you. And when that happens, you can bring in Jesus and it's got to go. And that's what to bring in peace, the opposite. So in cases like that, if we're feeling overwhelmed, we've learned to use certain words. Certain words aren't good.
And certain words are trigger words for us.
Yeah, when he says, I'm overwhelmed, I'm like, oh God.
I'm struggling.
Oh gosh, what's going to happen? Is the sky falling? So we've learned to what are the words that aren't going to trigger anything? And then what are words we just don't touch? And we don't want to bring up something that would just take us to a level 10 when we want to stay at a 2. If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So we can still say what we mean what we say, but let's be mindful of certain words just don't go down easy. It's like that. You need the spoonful of sugar.
Yeah. Makes medicine go down.
Certain words don't have sugar.
Yeah.
It needs the sugar.
It's got a little spice to it.
And we each have that. We each have those words.
Oh, we do.
And that was even a learning process or a learning curve. Okay, let's even I think of baseball right now, because I used to be an all-star pitcher, softball, but there were certain signals, that the catcher gave you, and for certain pitches, and so you just knew, okay, and they knew the stuff with the batter and what the batter had a better percentage on in certain pitches and what they struck out with. So it's just all this, it's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's the same way with this. Okay, there's certain things you want to deliver, certain pitches you want to throw in communication. And you're going to need to be aware of what is your team player and what is easy for them to swallow and handle and what they don't do well with. Mm-hmm. So, I don't want Dave striking out in our conversations,
right,
and feeling bad and shamed like he would if he was at the batter's box and struck out.
It's like the verse, truth with love in the game, the banging gong.
Yeah.
You want to speak truth through love.
With love.
You just don't want to throw the truth out there and be mean about it.
I know, and I think when we first got even into deliverance, it can sometimes, it still needs to be done with love. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you can get with deliverance and you instead see the demonic and you don't see the person.
Oh,
and you
absolutely.
need to see
the person.
Yeah. And love on them. And with that love, just like with Jesus, when Jesus came by, it was his love that they just had to go away from. Right. So love it just brings about such transformation and such healing. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what it did even with us, with communication. It's like, okay, let's lovingly communicate to each other. Let's show honor and respect.
Well, it was to learn what that looked like, to do that in a healthy manner, because
we had not seen it.
We haven't done it before. And that was part of the reason the other marriages failed, was not able to communicate in a positive and a loving way to get our points across. And that was something when we came into our marriage, that we didn't seem to have that skill yet. But we realized we were missing it, and we had to work on it to...
We didn't want another failed marriage.
Yeah, because we knew...
We didn't want another cycle. We knew we recognized we are the common denominator. Mm-hmm. We recognize that marriage takes two, and we came to the marriage with all of our stuff.
Absolutely, we have a baggage.
You have to go through the stuff and be mindful of what you want to allow in or not.
Right.
Okay, if there's a bunch of resentment due to something that happened when you're a child, I need to deal with this because I don't want that defiling my my home, my children, my husband. And he is, one of the things when I talk with God, he never refers to Dave as my husband. He refers to Dave as
Super Dave.
No, he never has said that either, hon.
He never said Super Dave?
No, he didn't. No, he is always, he might call you his super son,
yes.
But he's always referred to him as, this is my son. Mm-hmm. So this is how I want you to serve my son. And he even has me ask him, how can I serve your son today? Or how can I serve you? Because I'm serving God when I serve Dave well.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean I'm his servant.
Right.
You can serve your husband just by giving him a hug, and being there for him, and and that's part of the communication, is learning that. Dave used to want all this.
14-hour car ride to Buffalo.
I know he did.
That's definitely serving me.
He served me, and I served you by being the person in charge of the map.
You were you. Absolutely, you had the snacks.
Hit that GPS button.
Hey, Patrice, hi Christine, great to see you guys. How are you?
So that was hard to swallow, even because when you come, especially being a single mom, and I took care of the family, and I did all this.
You don't need a man.
And I was 12 years. I was single mom. I had my own business, and and all of a sudden I have to serve a man. It was like, you crazy. It was like crazy. So I had to learn. The first thing I had to learn was to die on myself, stop my prideful poop, and figure out, learn what within me to change so that I could be the best vessel with him and pour into him good stuff. And vice versa.
Yes.
Because I know the woman's heart will take on the appearance of what the man is releasing to her.
Jimmy Evans.
Jimmy Evans, he's awesome with
Yep.
marriage. And so that's something men need to look at. The condition of my wife and where she's at and the condition of her heart, that's a reflection of the man of the household. Because he is the shepherd. And so that's just as Jesus poured out into his disciples and into the church, it's important for the man of the house to pour into his wife and his children. And they will then blossom. The woman will flourish and blossom. But then she also needs to pour into her husband to build him up. And so the two become, because the two are one.
We're one.
So they're gonna,
You succeed, I succeed.
yeah,
If I succeed, you succeed.
right.
That's it.
We all succeed.
We succeed.
Go succeed. And to have fun while you're doing it.
Absolutely.
Instead of being angry. It's like, okay, at the end of my life, how much did I benefit from the anger? How much did I benefit
Yeah.
from being, not being able to forgive someone? How much did it benefit my life by keeping a record of wrongs? I doubt it. I doubt if you're going to
That
lay
file
in
cabinet.
that bed going, I'm so glad I was angry at you and I just couldn't forgive you. And so it's just, I had to say the best thing was getting over ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
We're just not that,
Not that
we're just not all that.
So back to say what you mean what you say. It's worked out well when we don't try to manipulate the person to do what we need them to do.
Yeah.
We kind of let them know this is what I need, and the other person say no, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
And it's okay, and then we can figure that out. But if I'm always expecting you to do something, and then you don't know I'm expecting you to do it, that's not going to be a successful marriage. or
Yeah,
a
and you don't
successful
tell the
marriage.
person.
Right.
You don't tell them that you expected them to have dinner on the table at 6 every day or whatever it is.
I don't
You
expect
just
that.
expected
but
it, but you never ever communicated it, and then you come home and you're disappointed and you release that, so all of a sudden you're
That's-
releasing the disappointment. The wife then feels disappointed that she didn't fulfill something she was supposed to,
Yep.
and then the resentment just builds and builds and builds, and the next thing you know, you're just miserable. But it was still, when you go to the root of it, it was just an unrealistic expectation that wasn't communicated, and then it just developed into this mountain. So it's important to stop the expectations and communicate how you feel.
Yep.
Say what you mean what you say. And for me, the biggest one was sometimes I just needed a hug.
Yeah,
I just need a hug.
Yep.
Can I just have a hug?
absolutely.
And
Speaking it out helps.
instead of being like, I can't believe he came home and he looked at the dogs first. And he didn't even give me, and then you're mad.
I've never done that. God,
And it's like, no, you know what, so I told him I want a hug first.
Yep.
And that's what I had
So
to tell
mama's
him.
always first.
When you come home, I want you to come to me first and give me a hug first. And then I don't care what you do with the
even
dog.
if the dogs greet me at the door, they get pushed aside. Nope, mama first, and then the dog. Yep.
Yeah. And so then, but I had to state it. I had to say what I wanted. And that's important.
Was.
To be able to, but he was willing to listen too. He was willing to hear me, because I know he likes hugs too. And
Absolutely.
they say like an 11-second hug.
Yeah.
It does so many things for the body
does.
and the mind. They've even had studies at how much it helps the mind. That even with dementia, Alzheimer's, or whatever, that there's, so it's just
Really?
look it up. If you just find out for
Google
yourself
situation.
what the benefits of like an 11-second hug. It's pretty cool.
Was there anything else we had
I
down
don't
at?
Yeah, because when you feel, okay, so disappointment was a big one
Yeah.
that we both carried into our relationship, into our marriage, because we were already carrying disappointment from being a child.
Right.
We felt that our parents were disappointed in us, so then you
No,
just
they
carry
weren't.
that. But they
Even-
weren't.
They weren't.
We felt
but
it.
that was our position that we felt as a child.
Doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
We felt that they were disappointed in us.
Comes from bitter
So we
root.
carried that, and you'll then carry that into all the relationships.
Yep.
And you'll have other people feel like they disappointed you, even though they didn't, but you will release that upon them. So we kept releasing that upon each other. Even though I wasn't disappointed in him and he wasn't disappointed in me,
No.
there was just something in our way we worded things,
Yeah.
in our gestures, that it was just an overall cloud of disappointment. And so we had to also recognize that. And when we feel it now, we're like, oh, no. I'm feeling the disappointment. Nope. Let's get rid of it in Jesus' name. You got to
Yep.
go. And let's start declaring the positives. We
Yep.
break that cycle. Because that's so important to recognize the cycle and break it. And the only way to not go back into a cycle is to, at that second, recognize it and then come against it and then do the opposite.
Right.
So then you're starting you're planting new seeds, which will have new outcomes.
Yes.
So, but it's so important to recognize what you're releasing in the atmosphere, you are personally, and then call it out. I'm always like, the minute you've called it out, you have now placed a light and exposed the enemy. And then that's when you can just release the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You anything else, boss?
We've gone over a little bit.
we did.
But yeah,
we are.
couple minutes, but it was a good talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was good coffee, a good conversation.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hold on, get my coffee. Cheers.
Yeah. So anyway, Condon Ministries here on Instagram and Facebook.
Thursday nights, 8:00. Usually about 20 minutes. We try to keep it there, short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can reach out to us if you need DM us or message us, or you can also like and share and subscribe and
Yes.
all those things. And yeah, awesome.
And then we'll be here next Thursday, and I'm not sure what it's about.
We'll figure it out. We'll see what the Lord says. So, yeah.
Is that
Yeah. Well, Alexander, I drink decaf at night, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's decaf.
Otherwise, I'll be wired.
We would
but
be.
yes.
I would.
But
Yeah.
we love it. So
Yeah. Decaf peanut butter.
I got just plain.
Mine's peanut butter flavored.
But yes,
That's
coffee
yummy.
at night is a special treat. All right, love you guys all. Take care, and we will see you next Thursday. And if you need help, just reach out.
Yes.